Hello all and welcome to your Boomkin guide for the Mage Tower, the Legion Mage Tower for Raced Mage Spear and Karam Mage Spear. This is a very simple guide. It's basically going to be going over what I done on a sort of thought process basis. It's not going to be, oh, you need these talents and you need these consumables and you need to do this at this time. It's very much, I'm going to be going through what I did and talking you through my mindset in terms of why I did it. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, we obviously have the talent tree here. This is my talents. You don't need to use these whatsoever. You can mix and match a little bit. However, I would very much recommend the fungal bloom over the denizens here. I change it a little bit. I'm kind of contemplating whether or not denizens are better than the fungal bloom. I'm kind of looking at the dot and thinking, okay, I could do better. So I try out denizens here. It is not worth it. I very much would recommend the fungal bloom, primarily because what it does as well, it procs your twilight, so you're doing 8% more damage as well. Instead, you have to constantly keep uptime on your stellar flare. These talents you don't really want to change that much. I suppose if you really want, you can go into like rejuve, swift mend and stuff, but you're using globals for that. Whereas well-honed instincts is an automatic heal. Part of the wild and nature's vigil will heal you while you're doing damage at the same time. Mighty Bash, I'd very much recommend on grabbing purely for Karam, who is essentially chasing you. So at the start of the fight, it's very simple. You just want to kite Karam around the outside of the platform as he spawns these like purple patches. As you can see, I'm just showing my gear here as well. It's all very much just PvP gear. Let me go back a little bit. It's all very much PvP gear of this season. Nothing too crazy. The tier pieces, I'm pretty sure, do not work in these mage towers. So it doesn't matter if I'm wearing tier set pieces or not. I am, though, if you're curious, I'm wearing 2 set bonus for my druid because I am unlucky with the vault. And I don't do PvE. But yeah, as you can see, it's all PvP gear. I don't think there's a single PvE piece in there. So yeah, you can do this with ultimately any gear unless it's like full crit. You're going to want to chuck out as many GCTs as you possibly can. So as obviously the fight starts, you want to just position yourself on the left. And my theory is I'm just going to kite and sort of use my utility early to push him back. Just so I get it later, like throughout. This part's very simple, essentially. You're just kiting him around the edge, keeping your dots up constantly. You want 3 dots on him all the time. Sunfire, Moonfire, and Stellar Flare for the Twaning Twilight buff right here. So I reapply my Stellar Flare and just pump as much damage as I can into him. I don't use Incarn here, and I only use Fury of a Loon, purely on the basis that I want to just have some astral generation, and the Fury of a Loon I tend to find comes back in time for when I'm wanting to pump a lot of damage into Raced, the main boss of the actual fight. You usually get a full moon proc here as well. When he's about 40%, you want to start moving towards the middle, because at 34, 33%, he will transition and the boss will become active. At this point, you want to pop all of your cooldowns. You want to pop as much as you can and just absolutely pump the boss. You don't really care about these shadowy fiends yet. I tried to sunfire them to get my denizens of the dream out, but honestly, I got no procs of the denizens of the dream. This is why I think the fungal damage over time effect is a lot more effective, because that way I didn't have to reapply Stellar Flare there. It does help to reapply it, but essentially I'm not using global cooldowns to put Sunfire on mobs that aren't giving me any damage increase, essentially. So you want to pump as much damage as you can into him. 70% is like kind of the bare minimum. Not bare minimum. You want him around more 60, 65%. 70% is quite poor on my behalf. As race starts, or as Karam starts moving towards you again, you will just want to dot him up and keep him rotting. These fiends or hands from beyond, you want to pump down as quickly as you can. You want to save your solar beam for if you're in a sort of really shit position. I got lucky with a full moon there. So what I'm kind of thinking here is, okay, nothing's coming up. The next thing that will come up is like another hand from beyond. There you go. So I want to just immediately target it and utilize my stellar flares. Again, I get lucky with another full moon on it. So this was really lucky, but I was quick enough to burn that down. And you're just wanting to keep 3 dots on him, and he will rot. He will slowly rot, Karam. Try and use a Typhoon or a Mass Entanglement whenever a Hand from Beyond spawns. But essentially, I use Stampede and Roy just to get that little bit of extra distance so I can position myself better. When he becomes active, this guy, you've got 10 seconds about till your Incarn's back up. You don't want to pop it straight away. I think I do, though. But you want to pump as much damage as you can out here without utilizing that Incarn. You want to use Incarn when sort of the first hand shows up. So I use it here because I thought, oh, this will be fun just to use, I guess. This pool I just let between. You want to get to these pools relatively early because you want to stand in them a couple seconds essentially, and then it will disappear. It's not like right at the end and then it will disappear. So here, Karam is now active and Raced is active. Karam you don't want to deal with anymore. You kind of just want to kite him around while killing the main boss. So here is where I should have used my Incarn really to hit the Hand from Beyond as well as Raced, because that would have died a lot quicker. Here, I wanted to soak it a lot earlier. I didn't have time to go round an entire lap, so I just utilized my Mass Entanglement and then bash him to secure that kill. I'm kind of dropping about 50%, so I'll use a quick renewal. I did fuck up on that wild charge. I didn't mean to go that way. But as soon as this Hand from Beyond spawns, I'm on it and I'm just dotting it up. I know that I don't have time to cast a Stellar Flare, and I know that I've got a lot of Astral Power in the bank, so I'm kind of just rotting the hand with Star Surges. And here, I'm trying to keep my dots up as much as I can on Raced. I see that there's a summoning circle over here, so I have to stop casting to even reach it. At the same time, a Hand from Beyond spawns. You want to just pump into this. I have to stand here and cast and get some like an eclipse going essentially to burn this. I probably didn't need to solar flare this, and this is where it got dodgy, like towards the end. I let him get way too close as well. But essentially, you want to pump as much damage here. What I'm thinking is, okay, he's at 10%. I've kind of just got to absolutely pump him with damage. So I kind of think, okay, fuck it. I'm just going to pump him and commit to this. So I don't target the hand. I don't go for the summoning circle because Karam is right there. So what I do here, as the cast is about to go off from the hand, I jump into bear form to tank the cast, and I heal up with my frenzy, and I also tank a couple of these, leap away from the thing from beyond, and he just dies to like rot damage essentially. So it gets really like scared at the end. But essentially what I was thinking just previous, the one that I didn't, or the one that I used my solar beam on, I didn't necessarily need to, and I could have used it for that one in the burn phase. That way I didn't take the big bulk of damage. I just had to necessarily CC the thing from beyond with a Rue or a Bash or a Typhoon, that kind of thing. Because having them both up at the same time is very scary, because it's one big hit into a semi-big hit from that like big guy. So essentially, yeah, it was very dodgy towards the end, all because I messed up one solar beam, and that's like how close the margins are essentially. But as long as you're kiting quite well, you want to get used. The biggest tip that I can say is you want to get used to soaking the circles very quickly and keeping your dot uptime as much as possible. You want to keep your stellar flare, your sunfire, and your moonfire up as much as possible. The mushrooms you kind of want to utilize as a slow more than anything. I think you saw me putting them on raced quite a lot, so you want to utilize that as a slow, and any dot damage that you get extra on, say, the minions or the main boss itself is a plus. But yeah, Denizens of the Dream didn't do it for me. It did like half the damage of the fungal dot, but again, the fungal dot is hitting a lot of targets. But it has more properties than just damage. It does keep your waning twilight stack on the boss, so he is taking 8% more damage from you, which does stack up over the course of the fight. But yeah, it's dot management mostly and good kiting skills. When you get to that point where there's a hand and a circle to soak at the same time, you might get lucky and the circle will be directly on you, so you soak it immediately. And you might still have solar beam as well. So it's one of them things you can just sort of deal with in the moment. But in this moment, it was I was cut off by Karam here, and literally have the circle right behind him. I cannot soak that without dying. He will one shot you. Karam will one shot you if he catches up to you. Trust me, I found that out in the previous 2 attempts. The hand I know is already like nearly halfway through casting, and I've got 10 seconds essentially right here to burn it. These Wigoras do help, but they're not too hard at seeing. Like, they're not too tough or in terms of seeing the mob itself. It's more just knowing when the cast is going to go off. Um, but yeah, I saw the cast. I saw that he was about a third of the way through, and I thought, I don't have time to burn him. It's better if I just pump damage onto Raced and essentially tank the hit, because I know that I can in bear form. It would have been better if I used Heart of the Wild for this moment, because I don't really know what I use Heart of the Wild for. But essentially, this would have made it so that I was tankier in bear form when I went in bear form. And yeah, my healing would have done a bit more on my frenzy regen, so it would have been a bit more of a security measure. But that is it for this. Thank you all very much for listening. Mage Tower is really tough, so I really hope or wish you all the best of luck. Be sure to check out my podcast. I do everything on WoW, from dungeons, PvP, raids, just to the general rants about, class designs or whatever. It's all down below, and I'd really appreciate you checking it out. But thank you all very much for watching, and take care, and good luck. Peace.